Welcome to another deep dive, everybody. Today, we're going to be delving into the world of Xylosma.
Xylosma.
Yeah, it's this genus of plants
Okay.
they have this really amazing potential for medicine.
Interesting.
We're going to be looking at this really cool scientific paper today, and it's going to help us, unlock some of their secrets, how they've been used traditionally, what they're made of chemically, and what scientists are finding out about them.
I'm intrigued already.
What I thought was really wild was that almost a quarter of Xylosma species are actually endangered.
Oh, wow.
So understanding their potential, it feels even more urgent,
Yeah, definitely. There's this added layer of responsibility when we're exploring them.
Exactly. Okay, so Xylosma. Not exactly a household name, right?
Not really, no. But they've been used in traditional medicine for centuries, way back.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in Central and South America, China, places like that.
So what were they using them for? The paper mentions all sorts of things.
Yeah, like skin conditions,
Oh,
nervous system issues,
Mhm.
even respiratory problems.
Wow, so kind of all over the map then.
Yeah, pretty much. And they used every part of the plant, it seems like, too.
Really?
The leaves, the bark, the whole shebang.
There's this really fascinating example in the paper. It talks about Xylosma caracantha in Nicaragua. Have you heard of this?
I don't think so. What is it?
Farmers there, they've been using it to help cattle with
With what?
placental retention after birth.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
It is, right?
It's a great example of, ethnoveterinary use.
What's that?
It basically means using traditional knowledge to treat animals. Shows how this wisdom goes beyond just human health.
That's so cool. Okay, so we've got these centuries-old traditions, but where does modern science fit in?
Well, scientists, they often start by, they look at the most common traditional uses.
Okay, so kind of follow the historical trail.
Exactly. And for Xylosma, a lot of the research, it's focused on its antibacterial and antifungal properties. And you know what? In many cases, they're finding evidence that supports those traditional uses.
Wow, so it's not just like folklore or anything.
No, not at all. There's some real science backing it up.
That's really cool. Are there any standout Xylosma species in the research?
Let me see. There's one that caught my eye, Xylosma congesta.
Does ring a bell.
It's been used in traditional Chinese medicine.
Oh,
And now studies are finding it's got anti-inflammatory effects and can protect your skin.
that's interesting.
There's even potential for it to treat hyperpigmentation.
Oh, wow. Serious stuff then.
But of course, we need more research, clinical trials especially, to be sure these effects work in humans.
Of course, yeah. So what is it about Xylosma that gives it these medicinal properties? Is there a magic ingredient or something?
Well, not magic exactly, but it is fascinating.
Okay, I'm listening.
Researchers have found all these compounds in Xylosma, alkaloids, terpenoids, phenolics, you name it. They're common in plants with, medicinal properties.
Okay, but what do those even mean? Break it down for me.
Think of them like the plant's chemical weapons, their defense mechanism.
Okay, that makes sense.
Take alkaloids, for instance.
Mhm.
They often have pretty strong effects on your body, like caffeine or nicotine. Those are alkaloids.
Oh, right. What about the other ones?
Well, terpenoids, those are what give a lot of plants their unique smells.
Oh, so like essential oils and stuff.
Yeah, kind of. And they've been shown to have anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial activity.
Wow, so they're like little warriors fighting off all the bad stuff.
Exactly. And then you have phenolics. They're the antioxidants.
Oh, the good for you stuff you always hear about.
Right. They protect your cells from damage.
So it's like Xylosma has this whole army of compounds working together.
That's a great way to put it. This whole cocktail of compounds creating these medicinal effects.
That is so cool. But are there any compounds in this cocktail that are particularly interesting?
Oh, definitely. There's this one called Xylosmin. It was first found in a Central and South American Xylosma species, I think.
Okay, and what's so special about it?
It's got this really unique structure, and some parts of it have shown, get this, antiviral activity.
Antiviral. Seriously, now we're talking. What kind of viruses are we talking about here?
Well, we need to be careful not to overstate its potential. It's still early days in the research.
Right, of course.
But there are some promising findings. For example, studies have shown that it can stop certain viruses from replicating,
Like which ones?
including herpes simplex virus type 1, for one.
Wow, okay, that's huge.
It is. But more research is definitely needed.
Absolutely. Okay, any other compounds in this Xylosma arsenal that we should know about?
There's another one that comes to mind, atreric acid.
That name rings a bell.
It's found in a few different Xylosma species, and it's been used traditionally for its antifungal properties.
Right, right. I remember reading about it.
But now scientists are investigating it for something even bigger: cancer treatment.
Cancer treatment. Wow. Okay, hold on. How does that even work?
It seems citric acid can mess with cancer cells in a few ways.
Like what?
Some studies show it can trigger apoptosis. Basically, it makes the cancer cells self-destruct.
Whoa, that's incredible. And this is all from a plant that most people have never even heard of. Makes you wonder what else is out there, right?
Exactly. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, really.
What do you mean?
Remember, we've only looked at a handful of the compounds found in Xylosma. There's so much more to discover. It's like each species is its own unique recipe, blending these compounds in different ways to create its own special kind of bioactivity.
That's mind-blowing. And to think, over 80% of Xylosma species haven't even been studied in detail yet.
It's true. The potential for finding new and even more powerful compounds it's immense.
Wow, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. This is amazing. We've gone from ancient remedies to, like, cutting-edge cancer research.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
But hold on, we can't forget about conservation.
Right, of course.
With so many Xylosma species endangered, we can't get carried away with the science and forget about protecting these plants.
Absolutely. We need to find a balance between, exploring their potential and making sure they're around for future generations.
Well said. I think that's a good place to stop for now. We've covered a lot of ground, from traditional uses to, wow, cutting-edge research.
Really have.
But there's still so much more to explore. When we come back, I really want to dig deeper into some specific Xylosma species.
Sounds good to me.
See what makes their bioactivity so unique. Stay tuned, deep divers. Okay, so we've talked about the general, properties and stuff, but can we get into some specific species now? What makes their bioactivity so unique?
Yeah, definitely. It's fascinating how each Xylosma species has its own, personality.
Personality?
Yeah, in terms of, which compounds it makes.
Oh, and how much of each one?
That makes sense. So any cool examples?
Let's see. There's Xylosma ciliatifolia. It's a species that's been used traditionally in Brazil, mainly for its antibacterial properties.
Xylosma ciliatifolia. Isn't that the one that's been used to treat skin infections?
That's the one.
So what did scientists find out about it?
They actually isolated a compound from its root bark.
Oh, wow. What is it called?
It's called Ugandan.
Ugandan.
Yeah, and it showed really strong activity against
Guess what?
Staphylococcus aureus and Staphylococcus epidermidis.
Those are the bacteria that cause skin infections, right?
Exactly. So basically, science is backing up what traditional healers have known for ages.
That's so cool. I bet there are more examples like that.
Oh, definitely. Tons.
Okay, hit me with another one.
All right, let's head over to Asia.
Okay.
Remember Xylosma congesta? The one we talked about earlier?
Yeah, the one used in traditional Chinese medicine.
Right. Well, recent studies have found some pretty impressive anti-melanogenic effects. Anti-melanogenic. Refresh my memory. What does that mean again?
Basically, it can stop your skin from producing too much melanin.
Melanin, that's the pigment that gives our skin its color.
Right. So this could be really helpful for treating things like hyperpigmentation.
Where your skin produces too much melanin.
Exactly.
Oh, that's super interesting. It seems like each species has its own special power,
I like that. Its own special power.
What other powers have we found?
Well, how about we travel to India now?
Okay, I'm ready. Take me there.
In India, there's Xylosma longifolia. It's often used for its antifungal and anti-inflammatory properties.
Xylosma longifolia.
This one's really interesting because it's packed with things like atraric acid and catechin.
Wait a minute. Atraric acid? Isn't that the one that showed potential for cancer treatment?
You got it. Good memory.
And catechin. I feel like I've heard of that before.
It's a powerful antioxidant.
Oh, right. Protects your cells.
Exactly. So you've got this combo of compounds in Xylosma longifolia that could potentially help with a ton of different issues. Fungal infections, inflammation, maybe even cancer. Who knows?
Like a little natural pharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they've been used safely for so long in traditional medicine gives us a good starting point.
Absolutely. That traditional knowledge is it's like gold for researchers. It can really guide them in the right direction.
So it's like ancient wisdom and modern science coming together.
That's a great way to put it. But, it's not always easy to combine those two approaches.
Why not?
Well, a lot of traditional knowledge is passed down orally, right?
Yeah.
So it can be hard to document and make sure everyone's on the same page. And sometimes the methods used in traditional medicine, they don't really fit with the way scientists do research.
I can see how that could be tricky. But I imagine the benefits of bridging that gap are huge, right?
They are. But there are ethical considerations too.
Well, yeah, for sure. Especially when you're working with indigenous communities. We need to make sure their rights are protected and that they benefit from any discoveries that come from their knowledge.
100%. We can't let the excitement of scientific discovery, overshadow the responsibility we have to these communities.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between scientific progress, respecting cultures, and making sure things are sustainable.
Well said. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay, so back to Xylosma.
Back to Xylosma.
We've talked about a few specific species, but there are over 100 out there.
I know, right?
And new ones are still being discovered. It's incredible.
It really is. It's like this whole universe of possibilities.
What are some of the things that scientists are specifically looking for when they're studying these plants?
Well, they're looking for, patterns, trying to see if certain types of compounds are linked to specific uses or potential benefits.
Okay, that makes sense.
And they're also trying to understand how these compounds interact with each other.
Because sometimes they work better together.
Exactly. Sometimes the combination is way more potent than any single compound on its own.
That's fascinating. It's like each Xylosma species is a puzzle, and scientists are trying to put all the pieces together.
Yeah, it's like a big scientific detective story.
I love it. Okay, I think it's time for us to wrap up this deep dive into Xylosma.
I agree. It's been quite a journey.
Wow, what a deep dive this has been. From ancient traditions to high-tech labs, it's incredible how much Xylosma has to offer. As we wrap up, what's the biggest thing you're taking away from all this?
Honestly, it's the potential. We've only just begun to understand what Xylosma can do.
Yeah, it really feels like we've just scratched the surface.
Exactly. There could be so many more uses, so many more benefits we haven't even discovered yet. It's like a treasure chest just waiting to be opened.
And it's amazing how much traditional knowledge can guide us in that exploration.
Yeah, totally. It's like having a roadmap pointing us in the right direction.
But we got to be careful, right?
Oh, absolutely.
We can't forget about conservation. With so many Xylosma species endangered, we have to be responsible.
Right. We don't want to repeat the mistakes of the past, over-harvesting, damaging habitats, all that.
So what's the best way forward? How do we make sure research and conservation work together?
Well, I think sustainable harvesting practices are crucial.
Makes sense.
And protecting their habitats, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
But we also need to involve indigenous communities in the process, respect their knowledge and make sure they benefit from any discoveries.
It's about collaboration, right? Bringing everyone together.
Exactly. Scientists, conservationists, indigenous communities, everybody working together.
I love that. Combining ancient wisdom with modern science and a commitment to protecting these plants. That's powerful stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's where the real hope lies. By working together, we can unlock the secrets of Xylosma and ensure its survival at the same time.
I'm really excited about the future of Xylosma research now. This deep dive has been so eye-opening. Makes you realize how much we still have to learn from the natural world.
It really does. And how important it is to protect it. Who knows what other incredible medicinal plants are out there just waiting to be discovered.
That's a great thought to leave our listeners with. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.